This Friday on You Plug.
There's just something about me as a person that affects my relationship with the next person.
Because we tend to neglect ourselves and expect validation from other people.
Self-love, it's good, but to what extent? Because you need to thank the body.
Oh, it doesn't matter what other people say and what other people think.
Imperfect as that person is, then you are able to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Look at your neighbor and say, "You are my neighbor."
You embrace the good part of you so much that you embrace the bad part.
Sometimes it negates our flaws and our weaknesses.
Oh yeah, sure. Love yourself so much. You need to love yourself out of some relationships too. What is the use of staying with someone who does not please you? The two of us are toxic together.
Sure.
We need to rest from each other.
Self-love with Mac and Opes.
Hello, you pluggers. Welcome to You Plug. Welcome to the plug that keeps you plugged in. You know what's beautiful about this, Mac?
What's beautiful
is
about
that
this?
I'm greeting the world. I'm greeting local,
Okay.
national, international people. Welcome to You Plug, friends. Welcome to the plug that keeps you plugged in. We continue to talk relationships. We continue to talk macholo. And if you are here for the first time, friends, please don't pass. Subscribe, turn on the post notification so that when you subscribe, Mac, please, man, so that when you subscribe, you will be notified of the content. And if you happen not to know who this guy is, nagi opa o gara malekana ke mnare no msudo ga tafa so ga shadro ga tagas ke ngikiteni ka mazulu ka mna tuturisa ke goblo be taba tur moro mutlu ko madi tshwane boda komu o tshare muthu. And I'm chilling with my guy here.
It is a Friday. It is 7 p.m. SAST time zone.
Hey.
Yeah. And we welcome you to You Plug.
Oh, yeah, sure.
This is a time that we get to engage, to talk, where we negotiate alternatives and also challenge narratives.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And this is a beautiful space. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, we are glad to have you. If you've been with us through this 1 year, look, you deserve a special You Plug whatever.
Yes, you deserve it.
You deserve it. I am Mac. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
the child of the Most High God, blessed and highly favored, a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a nation belonging to God, to declare the praises of Him who has called me out of darkness into His wonderful light. I could see Opa giving me a side eye while I was reciting my holy praises.
Why?
And we both inside joke. Anyway, welcome. We are having this conversation once again. Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We are moving. We have been celebrating. We continue to celebrate. But
Yeah.
let's get to the thick of it.
Yeah.
Let's move to the heart of You Plug, the heart of the matter, or relationships.
Yeah.
Today, Meg, I just want us to look at relationships, or romantic relationships that is a result of one's relationship with themselves.
Okay.
The concept of self-love. I want us to just navigate this from there, because there's just something about self or about me as a person that affects how my relationship with the next person. Whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's a husband, or potential husband. So we need to deal with that. We need to look at that self-love, and we always say, Mike, we're saying we are challenging the narratives. We're challenging the current relationship narratives as it relates to self-love. As we think about that, Mike, what comes to your mind as we speak to this topic, self-love?
Self-love has been an idea that has really taken over, like in terms of the social media, in terms of conversations that one should love themselves outside of what other people say, focus on their own happiness, focus on our own well-being.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That it doesn't matter what other people say
Uh-huh.
and what other people think. So, which I think is good.
Uh-huh.
Because we tend to neglect ourselves and expect validation from other people, and expect and even go into relationships looking for validation, you
Yeah,
know,
sure.
because we have not taken care of ourselves, or we have not discovered who we are.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe to even add on that, as we expand on this definition, others would put it as a celebration, or this a state of celebration where you appreciate your physical, your spiritual,
Sure.
and your psychological growth. And that part of celebration is called appreciate. That part of appreciation is called self-love. And I think that's the space where we need to talk to. And you've already said it's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I guess every time as we pursue this self-love, we have to ask ourselves to what extent. It's good, but to what extent?
Sure.
Self-love, it's good, but to what extent? Because self-love means doing what makes me happy,
Yeah.
or what makes me happy, regardless of who thinks what.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to do then is to put responsibility on that self-love, because then if your self-love is inflicting pain on the next person, then it needs to be reviewed. Because we are created to live in community. But I want us to, as we're already establishing this definition, and this is exactly where we find ourselves. You take yourself to a vacation. You buy yourself expensive things. You appreciate yourself. And recently there's this word circulating. You need to thank the body.
Oh.
It means you must just eat nice. You must do all of those things. It's all part of self-care, self-love. As we define it today. But I want to, as we have clearly said that we are challenging narratives, we are putting this narrative here of self-love as we all understand it.
Sure.
But I want us to outsource another definition of this self-love. I don't think it's very far from this one, as I've spoken about celebrating your psychological, physical and spiritual growth. I don't think it's way far from this one, but I want us to put this one so that we can see how do we move forward from these two, but also this connect us to the exact vision of UPlug, which is to understand the relationships as God's design, romantic relationship, to understand romantic relationships as God's design for humanity.
Sure.
Now I want to compare this, Mac, and you will tell me what you think as we go. I want to compare this with Mark 12, 30 and 31.
Sure.
Because I want us to lay a principle that we are contending with as far as the idea of self-love is concerned. So I want us to lay down that principle. And it says, and I'm paraphrasing,
Sure.
you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart,
Sure.
with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Second to that, then you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. You see, it still comes back to that self, and it says you are not going to love anyone more than you already love yourself. So you need to assess that. But I think even just to try to look at that, you should love the Lord your God with all your heart. That's your center of affection.
Sure.
And the intention. Your mind, which is your center of emotional, where you all your emotional thinking, or all your emotions are processed. That's the center of your emotional response. That's the word that I was looking for. Your soul is what connects you to eternity. It's the eternal you, the part of you that connects you to the world beyond this. And then speaks about the strength. It speaks about effort. And we don't even want to look deep into that, but just to lay that principle. Obviously, it's linking for me. It's linking with that spiritual. It links with that psychological, your mind. And it links with the heart. But for me, what hits me is love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Sure.
You take all those
Say second to that.
Yeah. You take all those parts, you apply them, all these categories, you apply them to self in relation to others.
Sure.
That's self-love. For me, it's big. I don't know what do you think, Meg, even before we begin to unpack that. What do you think?
Before we go any further, you might be thinking we're doing a Bible study.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's not a Bible study. It's just
not at all.
Our point of reference and our worldview. That
oh yeah, sure.
This is how we connect it to the principles that are laid.
Yeah, sure.
That how they address how we think about relationships, because
yeah, sure.
we have our belief system. We all have our own belief system.
Sure.
And we're saying this is how it best plays out in relationships. So
I like
in
that.
terms of in terms of that is really, I think it's big. I think it lays a huge responsibility, because it now because self-love already presupposes that what makes me happy is good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It presupposes self-centeredness.
Yes, self-centeredness, exactly that. So it says what makes me happy, what makes me feel good is good and is right. But looking at the text that you brought up, love the Lord your God, it already tells me, I mean, one can look further into this, but it already establishes the surrender of self.
Yeah, sure.
To God, who is supreme and who is the one who lays out the order and how things should play out. So sure. it already talks about self-sacrifice.
Yeah, sure.
That self that you're trying to please is what you are laying down now and allowing God to be the one who who determines the right and wrong. Because if we go according to self and making self happy, it does not necessarily, it does not mean it will make others happy. It does not it doesn't make us the we are not the point of reference in terms of what is good and what is
I
right.
like that.
But it is God himself. So
I like that. That's big.
So now, if he's the one who's going to define what is right and wrong, then it means that if we live according to those standards, then it's standard. It's whether it makes us happy or others,
not. Or
others happy. It is what is right according to him.
I like that. I want us to even bring it home, Meg, especially about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And what does that mean? Your neighbor is not the person who stays next to you, it's the next human being.
Sure.
Whether it's this person that you are in a relationship with or any other person, but we are focusing on the person that you are in relationship with. We're focusing on your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband, wife, whatever the arrangement is there in your relationship. That's your
look at your neighbor and say, you are my neighbor.
I like that.
Look at your person and say, you are my neighbor.
Sure. And I mean, we're grappling with this idea of self-love, but I want us to bring it home.
Sure.
What does self-love mean for me? For me, even beyond this definition that we have laid in the beginning, is loving the whole aspect of you.
Sure.
You are emotional, you are physical, you are psychological, your success and your failures, your strength and your weaknesses, that entire human being.
Sure.
If you love and fully embrace that human being, imperfect as that person is, then you are able to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Because if you love yourself enough and you're honest enough with yourself, you understand that you are not a perfect being.
Sure.
That love needs to go to that space. You are not a perfect being,
and that's what we grapple with.
Yeah, sure.
I think the idea of self-love today, many can correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes it negates our flaws and our weaknesses.
Oh yeah, sure, it's true. It's always about other people.
Yeah. So it puts it aside. So it's like you're trying to compensate for for your weaknesses and failures, and
I
not
like
necessarily embracing that. So what do you mean when you say love and embrace your flaws and love to that extent of self?
Oh yeah, sure. That's a very big question. Obviously, you are. I mean, that can only happen when you look at yourself for who you are. You understand that you are a human being who's capable of flaws. You can wrong other people can wrong you. You can hurt other people can hurt you. You embrace the good part of you so much that you embrace the bad part of you equally so. And if you do that, if you will understand that I am gorgeous, I am intelligent, I love people deeply, I care about people deeply, but you will understand I am selfish, I am self-centered.
Yes.
Sometimes I expect too much from other people than I can give. You see, you need to accept, when you embrace those, and this is how you apply it in the relationship, you will understand that when someone else wrong you on the other side, it's going to be easy to forgive them, because you already see that, you already embrace that you're also not perfect. You wrong other people too. So if someone, so you love yourself to an extent that you appreciate the whole. Of course, we strive towards perfection, but you love yourself so much that you embrace the good and the bad part of you. Not necessarily embrace by saying this is me, I will not change. You just look at it as something that exists within you. Yes, you need to constantly work on it, you need to constantly sharpen it, but for me, you look at it and you understand that much as you have this fault, default, whatever, the next person has. And you know, I'm convinced, Meg, that people who struggles to forgive other people are struggling to forgive themselves too. People who are struggling to love other people are struggling to love themselves too. People who are impatient with other people are so impatient with themselves too. So it always starts with self. It always starts with you, and embracing you entirely, not with an infinite mind to say I cannot change, I cannot do, but just accept this is my reality, this is where I find myself, but this is how I am relating to other people as far as I relate with myself. What do you think?
I mean I'm following, and I'm thinking, right from the top of my head, that it needs to come. You need to find a very good balance. Between that, because the other extreme would be being so patient to a point of even accommodating toxic behavior. And we've been saying toxic people, and we've been saying, if it does not work, leave. But then one may say, okay, how? In light of what we're saying now, if it does not work, it sounds like just be patient, because you are imperfect, So I think there's a very good balance that one needs to strike in that, because being patient does not mean and being accommodating and understanding and being self-love and loving your neighbor as you love yourself. It does not necessarily mean that one should put up with toxic behavior from the next person.
I agree. I agree, and I'm thinking even to what you are saying, that loving yourself, you need to love yourself so much. You need to love yourself out of some relationships too, especially the toxic ones, the ones that makes you to continue living in the bad side of yourself. The one that makes you that tricks your anger, that insults your essence of as a person, the ones that insults your integrity. You need to love yourself out of those relationships too. That does not mean you remain the center of perfection. That says that I embrace myself so much as an imperfect human being, and I acknowledge that this person is also imperfect, and the two of us are toxic together. We need to rest from each other.
No, I love it, and that is why at the beginning I was advocating and saying how this biblical text unfolds is that God becomes the center instead of ourselves, because now you do not, because the temptation is that in the relationship, because we are so self-centered, we judge the next person or our partner based on us,
our expectations, sometimes
which is
our
not
expectations
fair.
are unrealistic.
Yeah, which is not fair, because like with me in my relationship, I had a problem with let me say with communication. That was the thing that I was expecting from my partner, to say, you're terrible at communication. But it was because I was looking at it from myself,
from yourself,
to say,
you have
this
become
is how
the center of how proper communications looks like.
Exactly. So to me, that translated as, this person does not love me. So but then the alternative that I'm trying to negotiate is that instead of judging from, yes, I mean, the person, the next person might be bad at something, but it should be from the standard of God and not necessarily ourselves. Because when we fail, when I fail at communication, I do not have the guts to say, I'm the one here.
I'm even thinking, Mac, I like that, but I'm also thinking as the standard of God, but also the standard of this relationship. Not me, but this relationship, where that's what I thought I should add, because sometimes we strive so hard to please God, but we're in relationship with this person, and we are not pleasing this person. What is the use of staying with someone who does not please you in certain so I was just saying, maybe even on that space, just the standard, let that be what we have communicated as a relationship. What is communication here in our relationship? I think we're running out of time. I want to give you pluggers chance. What do you think? Self-love from us. Self-love is loving yourself so much that you understand that you are not perfect, but also look at God as a center of that perfection, not as each other. I don't know, Mac, in few words, if you want to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think I've said all that. I would like to leave it to the U pluggers as well, and just also say that when you tune into U plug, it's not a platform where you come and just where you to consume. Exactly that. But we want to, like we said, we are also on a journey of understanding, a journey of challenging narratives. We don't come here as experts, but our knowledge comes from engaging with you and learning from each other. So that is what we want to take on this journey with you, so that we can understand and develop an understanding together.
Let us know, what has been your experience? Self-love, has it been working for you? Has it been working for your significant other? Is Mujolo thriving out of this self-love, or is betraying Jolo? So let us know. Keep us plugged as we keep you plugged. So from the two of us, friends, remain plugged and connected. From Mac and Oops. Ciao.
This production was brought to you by Imago Dei Media.